without further ado, Moser's 17-game prediction for the Broncos' upcoming season.
By the way, this spreadsheet is pretty impressive, Nelly. Great job.
Very nice. We start with the opening week, September 7th. Tennessee Titans come to Denver at 2:05 in the afternoon, Moj.
I feel bad for the new kid. I feel really bad because the Broncos defense is going to pick him apart big time, beat him down. And Bo Nix, I think, is going to be good. Doesn't have to be, but everybody going to get a piece in this one. That is a dub on the on-ramp to the season right there. Boom.
Week 2. Oh, go ahead, Vic.
No, I mean, a lot of handoffs in that game. You don't need to pass the ball to beat
Correct.
Tennessee.
That is exactly right.
Yeah, can we get R.J. Harvey a 100-yard rusher in week 1? Can we do that? That would be pretty cool. Week 2, they go on the road to Indianapolis. Another 2 o'clock start, Moj.
The Colts last year were 8-9, and they actually were battling for a playoff spot kind of late. You know what I mean?
With the Broncos.
Yeah, with the Broncos. Who cares? Broncos go there and get it done. As you said, the poor Colts, nobody hates their quarterback more than they do, and yet they're like, that's our guy.
Do you guys remember, by the way, the game last year against Indianapolis and how that game went? Do you recall it? The Broncos were down 13-10 heading into the fourth quarter. And then Nick Bonito picked off the double pass.
That's right, the double pass.
It was called a fumble recovery because it was a backward pass. You're right.
And ever since then, the Broncos scored 21 in the fourth, and it looks like a blowout for a game that was actually close and almost a huge disappointment. So keep that in mind. But Moj, the prediction was what?
That's a win.
That's a dub.
That's a dub. And by the way, that Broncos win last year came later in the season.
Yes. No, they were fighting for that wild card spot together, yeah.
Is there anything more milquetoast than the Indianapolis Colts?
No. They're just kind of there, right? Week 3, the first real tough one. You go on the road at L.A. to play the Chargers. Another 2 o'clock start.
Nah, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
I know.
It's going to be tough. You said that's going to be tough.
That's a loss.
Say it louder.
That's a loss. It's a loss.
Didn't beat the Chargers last year.
I know. The worm has to turn sometime. I'm not saying that the Chargers are better than the Broncos. I'm just saying the law of averages will tell you. Eventually, the Broncos beat the Chiefs, did they not?
Yes, they did.
The worm has to turn sometime. This is probably at week 3.
So 2-1. 2-1 start through 3 weeks. That takes us to week 4. Monday night football.
Dun, 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 dun.
At Mile High.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Monday Night Football.
Can you ask for a better week 4 than Joe Burrow and those guys coming to town? And Vic
Broncos, Cincy. What you got?
I love what you said, Vic.
In Denver.
Yeah, the early season Bengals are
Much
different than late.
Yeah.
It's almost like a little Bengal cub.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's cute, da-da-da.
Yeah.
And
the
then,
Bengals will start 2-6 like they always do and then rally back.
Yeah, then like week 14, Bengals is like, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Broncos are going to get a dub on Monday Night Football. It's going to be a close game, but that's going to be a win, close win, but it's going to be on national TV. It's going to be beautiful at Mile High. You're 3-1.
If you remember last year, another matchup that they had late in the season, the Broncos lost that game in overtime 30-24 to Cincinnati.
Yep.
So you think this is a dub?
Yes.
That's a 3-1 start as they go and take on the defending Super Bowl champions in week 5 at Philly.
They got no shot.
No shot in that game.
No. Not only are you going east where, again, teams in the West, when they go east for the 11 o'clock start, our time, right, the early game east, and you're playing the defending Super Bowl champions, you don't got a shot.
Remember last year's Eastern road trip? They had no shot against Tampa. They won. Then they went to the Briar Patch or whatever the hell that was. Spent a week there.
Yep.
And then they won the following week after that.
Yeah, that's because they played the Jets. The Jets are crap.
So through 5 weeks, that's a 3-2 start for the Broncos. As you go to week 6, where they go across the pond to London, a 7:30 a.m. start against the Jets.
That's all I'm saying. Hey, did you see the video the other day of, what's the actor's name who played Jamie Tart in Ted Lasso?
Phil Dunster.
Phil Dunster. Right. He's got him in Bronco uniform, right? Bronco jerseys. I'm not sure what a Bronco is, but I can't wait to see your Broncos.
Yeah, we'll give it away, Jamie Tart. Was it the horse head? Maybe the horse that runs on the field.
Hey, dude,
I mean,
they don't. Man, a Bronco is a Western thing, bro.
Okay.
It's a Wild West thing.
Whatever. What about the game? Jets.
That's a big time win.
Oh, a big time
yeah.
win.
You got tea and crumpets and stuffing up your crumpet hole. Broncos are going to smoke the Jets. They're going to be a 4-2 football team.
Well, as they leave London, they will come back home the following week. No bye afterwards. The following week, they go back home, and what is assumed to be the return of Russell Wilson as a starting quarterback for the New York Giants.
Mark my words when I say this. There is no way on God's green earth that Russell Wilson and the Giants come to Denver and win. Not a chance in hell.
I don't see Russell Wilson playing in that game.
Probably won't. He'll probably be done by then. 5-2 football team.
Well, yeah, as Jackson Dart is a first-round pick for him. I mean,
And they have Jameis Winston.
but you're no way on God's green earth they lose that game is what
Not
you're
a
saying,
chance.
Moser. All right. So that takes us to what? They're 5-2 now?
5-2.
As they go to week 8, another home game, this time against the Dallas Cowboys.
When was the last time the Dallas Cowboys were in Denver? How long has it been since the Dallas Cowboys graced us with their presence? It's been a long time. They don't even know what to do when they get off the bus here. That being said, this is going to be a tight one.
What's worse, Texans on the ski mountain or Texans at Mile High?
What?
Well, I don't go skiing, so I'm always told that Texans always invade.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
and when
right,
people
right.
from Texas ski in jeans,
Right,
which is
yeah.
just, you've already lost.
The last time they played in Denver was 2017.
Okay. The Denver Broncos are going to win a tight one here. They're going to be a 6-2 football team through 8 weeks.
6-2. That takes us to week 9. They travel on the road at Houston for an 11 a.m. start.
Loss.
Oh, really? Lost to Houston.
I think it's going to be a funky game, too.
Okay.
Mark that down, Nelly. Funky game.
That's weird that you would. Okay. You must know something we don't.
All right, 6-3 heading into week 10, short week Thursday night against Vegas in Denver.
This is unfair. You got to play at Houston on Sunday, but you got to play Vegas on Thursday. It's their first home loss of the year.
Wow, they're losing at home to the Raiders.
Yeah.
So that's 8-4 now, heading into week 11, where
I
they
just
play.
think the schedule makers did them a disservice.
They play them at home, or they play at home again. This time, the first one against Kansas City.
You've got a week and a half to prepare for this game. You got 10 days to prepare for this football game. Hey, Pat, you there? Pat. Oh, no, you ain't there. Good. That's a dub.
So that's 9-4.
Hey, boys, we've got 10 days rest. We can stick it to our division rivals, the pretty boys out of KC, and we have a bye week coming up. Let's go out strong. Let's
So hang
go,
on a
baby.
second. Hang on a
Let's
second.
go.
Just to recap something, through 11 weeks of this season, you have the Broncos
7-4.
at 7-4 with a tiebreaker over KC. You could be potentially leading the AFC West at that point.
You could be.
So then they head into a bye. Coming off the bye, long break.
Perfect time, man. You got a Thanksgiving bye,
Hang on.
which is great.
Bye week. The following week off the bye, they have to travel to Washington to play against the Commanders.
That's a loss.
So an L on Sunday Night Football against the Commanders.
And I just think Jaden Daniels, the guy's so special. It's a good football team now. That's a loss. You're 7-5.
So 7-5 heading into week 14 where you play against Vegas again, this time on the road in Vegas.
That is a dub. Can you say dub? I think, no, you can say the dub. Yeah, you're going to go in there and say, hey, look, man, they screwed us on the schedule. We let these guys get one in our joint. Let's get revenge. That's a dub.
8-5 heading into week 15 where they take on Green Bay in Denver.
That is also a dub. Now, I know Jordan Love's going to come. He's going to want to sling that pig all over, but I think weather could be a factor for both teams in that game. Could be.
Oh, like Green Bay's not
No,
familiar with weather.
I understand that. I understand. I'm just saying that's a dub.
So that's 9-5.
Yep.
Heading into week 16 in which you play Jacksonville at home.
You will.
Travis Hunter.
You're going to kill them. Absolutely slaughter Jacksonville before Christmas. 100%.
Well, that is a 10-5 record. Thursday night football at Kansas City.
This is, again, you're playing 4 days later. It's unfair.
That's the second time in the season that they have. Is that possible?
Yeah. Well, it's happening.
Are you allowed to do that? Have 2 weeks in which you only have 4 days prep?
Man, freezing cold Christmas game. Nobody wants to be there. Stinks. You're playing Kansas City. They're going to want revenge for you getting them in your joint. That's a loss.
10-6 heading into the final week in which you play the Los Angeles Chargers at home. Potentially, by the way, to win the division if they're 10-6 at that point.
I've never seen that before where a team has 2 Thursday nighters with only 4 days prep each time, twice in one season.
This is what I was trying to say earlier, guys. This
I
schedule
hate
is
it.
actually tougher than it looks. Like
Yeah, but I mean, usually they make concessions so that doesn't happen.
Right. Yeah.
To happen twice?
Yeah, not only that, but again, you're talking about you got to play the week after you come home from London. That stinks.
So, again, 10-6.
This is a flex
heading
game
into
now.
the final game.
There could be so much on the line for this game, Brett.
Hold on. 10-6 heading into the final game of the regular season. You're playing against the Chargers at home. And again, if you are 10-6 heading into the final week, you will potentially have an opportunity to win the division. Potentially.
Win.
So that finishes the Broncos.
You mother trucking B. That is a dub. They're going to be an 11-6 football team heading to the postseason. I don't know if they'll win the division, but they're going to be a hell of a wild card.
So that's 11-6 with a 3-3 split within the division. You
Correct.
win one, lose one with each team is what you got.
Because the Raiders got better, obviously, and they play the Broncos tough, although last year's different. The Chargers are going to find a way to win one. The Kansas City game on Christmas, 4 days after the Jags game, bothers me.
So it feels like the turning point games, the one that you've called wins that could be close, are Cincinnati and Green Bay at home.
Correct.
Like those could be your turning points into whether you are a 9-win or 11-win football team.
And I'll admit it, for some reason, and I don't know why. Boy, the Dallas Cowboys game on the 26th at home also bothers me a little bit.
Well, Dallas is weird because they've played without Dak Prescott for a while, and so
Correct.
It's like you don't have a true feel and read on what that team is.